Hello, I'm Matthew Begley, and this is me just giving you an overview of my mobile chess game built in Java ME. I'll just give you a quick example of what it is. It is actually put in text on my website, but basically it's a two-player chess game that has additional features that provide the player with assistance for their moves by showing them the places where they can actually move individual pieces they press, and also provides a rules checking system so the players do not have to worry about the game rules themselves, or it makes sure that a player deals with stuff such as checks, and also indicates when checkmates have happened, so win conditions. I know this is just the emulation, it does actually work on a phone. I just didn't show this because it's actually difficult to see, and at the end of this video a piece of it actually running on a phone will be added. It's just a little bit hard to see what's actually going on, but it will show you that it does work. Okay, let's begin. This is just a menu. As you can see, it's just like, it's all based off of the nav controllers. Just one thing to mention, the actual application was designed for a phone that doesn't have a touchscreen. Okay, so like this is just the pass screen, and this basically tells the player that it's player's one turn, which means it's the white piece's turn. Basically, it's just that when this pops up, the player knows that if he's player one, that it's his turn, he can continue. If it's player two, he knows he needs to pass it to the other player. We just click the select button to take the turn. We can actually the chessboard and all the pieces with the white pieces who are ours. The green square in the middle is actually the cursor, which the player moves around by using the arrow keys. The player uses this cursor to select pieces and position them within the possible moves. If the player, as I'll show you just here, but first I'll just quickly show you that this cursor doesn't actually work when you're trying to click like the other player's pieces. But if I say click the pawn here, it actually shows you the possible moves, and you can only move it to those positions because you can also, if you click it somewhere else, it deselects the piece. So if then I select that point, it will enter the, when I again click the select button, it will submit this player's turn. To move the cursor around, I'm just using the arrow keys as I've mentioned. So, okay, now we're going to face, as I mentioned before, this is just the pass screen. Okay, I'll just show you a few of the ways like this possible move system works. It's basically each of the pieces within this board is based off a piece class, and there's an array which holds all the pieces in. This piece class is basically an abstract class. It means it can't be instanced on its own, but it's used in inheritance within, for example, there's different classes for different types of pieces. So there's a pawn class, a king class, a bishop class, a knight class, and a rook class. And each of these has to instigate a method called possible moves, which is basically a system which uses a for loop, or a loop system, basically to generate the possible moves for that piece. And this is dynamic because as part of that process, it also checks to see what pieces are on the board that would block the possible moves, and removes the possible moves that would be blocked by other pieces on the board. Okay, we're on the player two's turn. I'll just move some pieces around to show you, but ultimately I'm going to show you check and checkmate. Because you saw it just moved actually the checkmate with the white pieces. So we'll just do a simple checkmate, but hopefully I'll be able to show you a check with the black pieces. So we'll bring that there. As you can see, the possible moves is working there, so when I clicked it, it brought out the line where the player could move the piece to. Okay, we'll try to keep this video short. If I just bring the rook out here, bishop out here. I can also show you, just so you know, that the knights also work for the possible moves, but they work in a slightly different way because they basically project out an L shape and loop that around because they're not in like a linear path. Okay, here now I can actually just drop that, and then we'll just move the queen, which you can see has the same system as a bishop, but it's actually extensive because it basically searches out the whole board when it does it, so it looks in all 6 directions from its point. Eight directions. Okay, now I can just quickly show you the check system. So if we see this bishop, we just press it there, and now you can see that we've placed player 1 in check. As we know, player 1 is just about to be able to do a checkmate. So what we can do is we can pretend that we didn't realise that we got checked to show that the game won't actually let us continue until we deal with it. So if I go there, as you can see again, it's sprawling out anywhere where you could move the actual queen, but we just want to go here. It won't actually let us do it, because you can see here it shows that move is invalid because it places our king in check. Because this system, like as the message indicates, this system actually also works that if you try to move a piece out away from a player, it would also prevent the player from doing. If a player tried to move a piece which would place the player in check, it also makes sure the player can't submit that move. So the only way we could deal with this is use one of the pieces. We could either use this bishop here or bishop here to take out the black bishop, or use the king. I think we'll just use this bishop here. Okay. Player's 2's turn. Just show you that the knights work on both sides. Okay, now we'll just show you the checkmate. Bring the queen in here. Very simple one. Put it in there and checkmate. Player 1 wins. That's basically the main features of the game. Basically, how the check and checkmate works. A check is done where it basically looks at all the angles from the king and basically works on the same system as basically the positions, similar to how the queens is worked out. But it looks for pieces that are either pocket that are of the basically the other players, and if it is the other players, it finds another player's piece along the path from the actual king. It then looks at that piece's possible moves to determine whether or not it is placing the king in check. If it is placing the king in check, then it knows it needs to check for checkmate, and what it does for this is then it sees whether there's a piece that could basically it sees whether the king could move out to check itself. And if that isn't possible, it basically sees whether there's a piece that can take that other piece out. And if there isn't, by checking the possible moves of all the other players' pieces, then it knows it's checkmate. One thing it does when it's trying to check whether the piece can move, it also has to check that when the king moves, that it doesn't get placed in check. When it's checking that it doesn't get placed check, it has to do the possible move system again. So it can be a bit of a long process to check, but because it's only turn-based, it doesn't really hinder the gameplay. Okay, we'll just show you that this, like at this point, all you can do is exit. So you just click the up arrow, turns back to the menu, go back in, and you can start a new game if you wish. As I was saying, yeah. Okay, that's pretty much it. I'd just like to mention that actually all the stuff I've mentioned, like the possible moves system and the check and checkmate detection, are all code that and algorithms basically I've developed myself. I decided with this particular application to try and work out my own solutions to problems instead of doing a research-based development. I mean, that's how you normally do things, but I thought it'd be worth seeing how well I could do this, and I found out that I could actually quite easily work out ways of solving these problems on my own. That doesn't mean I didn't do research into actually how to develop applications for Java ME. It's just I didn't go and research algorithms for building chess games. pretty much shown everything that's the important stuff they can actually do. It's actually quite a good starting point, because you can actually use a lot of the sort of check and checkmate stuff and the possible move systems to develop an AI, because it gives a way for the AI to actually read the board and use those tools to move pieces. Other than that, basically, after this video will be a short video of actually the game running on the phone, as I mentioned before, and thank you for listening.